Number 1.
Ladies and gentlemen,
This is
Now, ladies and gentlemen,
Breakfast with Karen and Aaron.
I tell you, radio is a world that has to be believed to be seen.
Starts now.
you know what that means?
New Zealand Music Month this month. We've had a pretty mean ride, considering it's now the 15th of May. We've had a pretty mean ride over the last 15 days,
It's
haven't
been pretty cool, considering all the people, the different kind of musicians we've been able to talk to throughout just a short time.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, we're basically halfway there, bro.
Oh, here you go. You must be happy because you're the one who kind of does all the work around organising.
Oh, I'm just glad to see that it's coming to its fruition, bro.
Yeah.
You know, we've had a couple of close calls some mornings. Some of the brothers and sisters still not awake. It's like, come on, bro. All you have to do is get on stage and sing.
Yeah,
You
right.
don't have to do anything else, bro.
Yeah, it's not hard. Yeah, right. Anyway, a man who's, still up. He's up. He's up nice and early.
He's up nice and early.
Yes, and he's here to talk to us
Good
about
man.
the release of his second album, which will be called Completion.
Yeah, bro.
He joins us live on air this morning, our man, Pieter T.
Kia ora. Hey guys, how you going? How you going?
Yeah, ka nui tora. I'm feeling good today, Peter. You feeling good today, my bro?
Oh, bro, it's always a good day, bro. Any day you wake up breathing, eh? Not bad.
And to be honest, when you look as good as Peter T, every day's a good day, my bro?
Oh, that's a big compliment, bro. Thank you
Bro,
very
we've
much.
got to be honest, though. We've got to be honest. Every morning, do you wake up, look in the mirror and go, damn.
No,
really?
bro, 'cause it's like everyone, bro. When you wake up in the morning, it's pretty hideous, and then you do the big the deep breath, and you realise, oh, mate, better go brush those teeth. Eh? Better go brush them. Eesh.
Oh, my
jeez.
mate. Well, hey, thank you very much for joining us on the show, bro. We appreciate it, my mate.
All good, man. Always good.
Sweet. We've got to talk about it, the release of your second album, Completion. And I like your philosophy behind, especially the title of the album and what it pretty much, means to you, and that it's kind of the completion of all the goals and aspirations you've set for yourself, Peter.
Yeah. That's exactly the idea and reasoning behind it. You know, I've worked my butt off since I was a teenager. You know, and a lot of the dreams I had when I was, an adolescent, 13, 14 years old, wanting to be a singer and dreaming about, releasing albums and getting signed and stuff. I've completed a lot of things that I wanted to do, and including releasing singles and traveling the world. So this whole album feels like it's the end of a chapter for me. Not the end of music, but the end of a chapter in my life where I can say, yeah, look, I've ticked all the boxes here. Now it's time to get some new goals, set some new dreams for myself, and figure out what I want to do with the rest of it all.
Only hitting like lazy million views on YouTube or something like, nothing major. But look, in all seriousness, in terms of being able to complete all your goals and aspirations, does that change your outlook on your career path?
Yeah, very much so. But I'm like most people who want to be successful, I found it very difficult to be satisfied. As you get to new stages and you get to new heights, I'm always looking further abroad and looking at the bigger picture. So it's like I get closer to my goal, then I get the goal, and then I realize, oh man, it's shifted now. It's bigger. I want more. I want bigger things. So now I want international acclaim. Now I want to be, working on music overseas with people. So, as I've slowly achieved more and more goals closer to home, it's just made me realize that, hey, there are bigger things out there, and there are bigger dreams that you can achieve, and it all just comes down to how hard you want to work. I could very easily stop here and say, look, I've done pretty well for myself. I've done all right. I could stop here and leave it at that. But that's not the type of person I am. I really want to see how far I can take it. Life is too short to rest on your laurels and not actually, go for it and try and achieve big things. So that's what I'm aiming for. I'm trying to get out there and trying to get to the rest of the world and see if this little Kiwi can actually make a stamp on the world.
Mum.
Awesome, bro. Hey, collabs-wise, bro, you've done a lot here in New Zealand with, Deech, Vince Harder. You've done some with Fortify. You've done some with Sons of Zion. You've done heaps of collabs, bro. You're talking international, breaking the international scene. Who's one you'd like to collab with overseas, bro?
I actually want to get into a bit of writing as well. So I'm actually praying and hoping that I could potentially write for some of the bigger R&B artists, the likes of maybe work and write with Kevin McCall or potentially Chris Brown. All the guys who are full on serious in R&B. I would very much love to work with them and write some new music. But there's some new underground R&B artists that are coming through as well that a lot of people don't know about. I'm very up to the play with what's happening in LA and New York. Like, I follow all the blogs and see who's hot. But there's some new kids like Krishan, John Hart, August Alsina, Ty Dolla Sign. Like, there's a new wave of R&B coming out. So I really want to try and jump on with some of these guys and maybe help work with them. You can't go straight to the big fish, unfortunately. They've already got hundreds of writers vying for their attention. So the way I look at it, it's probably smarter to start with some of these smaller guys and work on a new brand of R&B and then see where I end up.
Very clever. How do you see the landscape of music as it sits 2013, May the 14th, my friend? Or 15th?
The landscape of music right now is workload. That's where it's at the moment. I'm seeing guys releasing material. Geez, they're releasing like 3-4 singles a month. You look at guys like Chris Brown. He's doing collaborations as well as releasing his own singles, and they're dropping within the same week. So the days of releasing one single and sitting on that for 4 months are kind of over with. You've really got to be putting in as much work and effort as possible and releasing good quality material as often as you can, which isn't hard to do if you focus. If you really focus hard enough, it's not that difficult to do. You've just got to keep putting that stuff out as much as possible.
Do you think it's artist driven, bro, or is it company driven?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I think, from talking to the artists that I see and meet, a lot of them are very, very hungry for success. And that's not just some guys, they're motivated by money. Some musicians I know are just motivated by the idea of creativity, just wanting to get all their ideas out. So I think it's a little bit of both. At the end of the day, it's always going to be corporate driven at its core. Music is a business like any other business, but it's very different in that it needs creativity for it to have a long sustaining life. Like, anyone can go out and make pop hits, just follow the formula. But to create material that's long-standing and lasting, like classic material that's going to be listened to in a decade's time, now that's a lot more difficult. It's very difficult to achieve.
How about the sound in which music is being released in today's society, especially for an artist that falls within kind of like your genre of R&B and soul, I guess? Are we trying to get back to the 90s or the 80s, or are we developing a new style or a new sound? How do you think?
I think music is cyclic. It's a bit like fashion, so it does go in cycles. So you're hearing a lot of there's a lot of new wave hipster sort of pop music that's coming out that's actually very reminiscent of the 80s. And in the 90s we had a lot of heavy bass, which I was talking to PNC about the cycles. In the 90s you had very, very heavy bass, which was reminiscent of sort of the Motown era, which was very bass driven. So I reckon there could be I think at this stage it's a lot about fusion. There are so many different styles and so much different music coming out that I think there's going to be a fusion of a sort of new wave sound that sort of runs in with the 80s and 90s, sort of like the type of R&B and sort of hip-hop that was coming out, potentially like New Jack Swing, and there's new wave sort of hip-hop coming out in New York. So I think there's a lot of crossover material. What I'm hearing from R&B out in LA at the moment, it's quite, the only way to describe it is it's like turn-up music. Like, the R&B is quite a club banger sort of feel, and the lyrics are a lot more forward than what they used to be in the 90s. There used to be a lot of seductive material. Now it's just pretty straightforward, like, hey, let's have a drink, let's go home. It's pretty full on, but that's not to say that's all R&B, but that's very much like what a lot of the guys are doing at the moment.
Very cool. I personally think that all three of us could just sit in a room and talk about this for hours and hours.
Definitely.
Because it's so interesting. It's really awesome.
I definitely know I could, bro.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely. Anyway, my mate, we've got to move on from that. And one thing I want to touch on is, and we mentioned this at the beginning of the interview, you are looking really, really good, my bro. In all seriousness, you are looking very good indeed. And one thing that I noticed, especially within our region of Tuwharetua, is that everyone is very hauora driven and have been since the beginning of this year. What was kind of the catalyst behind you wanting to really get in shape and look as good as you are at the moment, bro?
It started with For me, I'll be completely honest. It started with being unhappy with my body image. You know, having to, I couldn't buy clothes that could fit me properly. You know, I was constantly having to hide behind my clothing. Yeah, I'd have to wear jackets if I was going out, even in the summer, to try and hide my belly. You know, and what it came down to for me is I was just, it was really lazy. You know, I didn't want to work hard to get the body that I wanted. So it started out a little bit superficial, but as I started to get more fit, as I started to lose more weight, it's become like supreme enjoyment for me. And you notice all aspects of your life become much better when you're fitter and looking better. You know, when you look good, you feel good, and you're so much healthier. Like, I haven't been sick. I used to get sick all the time. I used to get colds like almost every weekend because I was eating terrible food and not training. Now I haven't been sick for at least 8 months or so.
Wow.
So, there are so many benefits that come with with training and working out and looking and feeling good. Not just looking good for the opposite sex or the same sex, if that's what you're into. Yeah. But just the health benefits are huge. You know, especially for Māoris and Polynesians too, it is a really big problem. Obesity amongst our people. And if there's one thing that I could say to people out there listening who are thinking about wanting to lose weight, or they just wake up every morning and they aren't happy, do something. Get your ass off the couch and go for a run, go for a walk, put down the packet of chips, and do something proactive towards the weight loss, because at the end of the day, nobody is going to lose the weight for you but yourself.
Good on you, my bro.
Awesome, bro.
Beautiful.
Awesome, bro. Well, one thing that kind of symbolizes how well you're looking, my bro, is the new video clip to right here. Bro, looking pretty good. But I must say, my bro, Frankie kind of upstaged you.
Oh.
Just
bro,
slightly.
That was the good thing, bro. I wanted the brothers to be able to look at the clip and go, Frankie Adams, eh? And I'm pretty sure I've achieved that result. When I sat down with Hummel and we were filming, I said, you know what, bro, we need a video clip. Because, the brothers can be a little bit funny about R&B. Yeah. They're all avid hardcore hip-hop fans. The brothers don't want to really put it out there that they've got that sensitive side. Yet, I hear them jamming along to the songs, but they don't really want to be putting it out there too much for fear of being emasculated. Yeah. But we put the Frankie Adams in the video. Neck mama, every dude is, there's no way I can watch Shortland Street again after 3 minutes.
You feel wrong, don't you? You feel wrong watching Shortland Street. Oh, my mate. Well, thank you very much, first and foremost, for taking time out of your day to have a chat with us, but also sharing with us some of your awesome whakaaro and the positive vibes you're sharing with our listeners this morning. We really do appreciate it, Peter. Thanks, bro.
Oh, thank you, boys. No worries.
Awesome.
No worries.
Now, Completion, the new album, everyone is so excited and can't wait for its release. So talk to us about it. Is it already out as we speak, or is it coming out shortly?
Coming out at the end of this month, bro.
Awesome.
So 31st of May, the album Completion will be dropping right as New Zealand Music Month finishes. It's got 14 tracks on there, and there's a very different and wide array of styles on there. Not just the pop R&B, but there's some actual quite abstract R&B sort of songs on there. There's the reggae jam with Sons of Zion. Nice. There's also an acoustic guitar track with the bro Taina Keelan.
Awesome.
I don't know if people know Taina, but his guitaring skills are on another level.
Yes,
so
bro.
There's quite a few different styles on the album. So, I mean, even if you're not a fan of the pop R&B tracks, just have a listen and see if there's some other songs on there that you might appreciate, because, I put a lot of effort into this, so I really think people will hear that when they listen to the album.
Oh, that's dangerous, because I know you've got Taisa to Tairāwhiti and so does Taina. Two te Tairāwhiti fellas on one track. That's very dangerous, bro.
Yeah, you're going to hear it. I think that's going to be a big one for people. So it's a very deep song with a strong message, so I pray a lot of people hear that track.
I think the Tairāwhiti word you're looking for is deadly.
Deadly. Is that how they're wrong? Is that how they're wrong on these guys? Peter, thank you very much, my bro. Congratulations. Hopefully all goes well with the album release, and if you are in town, please don't hesitate to come visit us, my bro.
Oh, of course. I'll pop in and I'll bring some salads, eh?
Kia ora. On it. We'll have a CrossFit session, eh, bro? A CrossFit session.
Even better. CrossFit while doing the radio. Oh, let's give it a go. Let's do it.
My man. Awesome, brother. Well, you have a wonderful day today, and we'll hopefully catch up again soon, bro.
Thank you, guys. Awesome.